back to my channel. This is Ben with Dog Toy. Today I'm going to start out with tidying up a few things. I got a few loose ends from my other installs. It's kind of hard to believe it's been 7 weeks already since we first started this venture. I picked up my interior lights. They're going to be the Harbor Freight version of the rock lights. These are plenty bright enough for what I'm doing. I've got some heat shrink tube I bought from there. I've got a inline fuse holder. I got my rocker switch off Amazon to kind of continue on with the 007 theme. Last night I temporarily wired one up with a long cord so I could plug it in and shine it around and see how many I needed. And I need about 3. I'm going to put 2 overhead in the front, and I'm going to put 1 overhead in the rear seats because I have a 4-seater. That'll be plenty. And these aren't really that expensive. They're 24 bucks for a set of 2. The switch is $10 off Amazon. Fairly simple. I got a few other things that I want to tie up so we can start buttoning it up. So let's get started. I don't know how hard it is to see, but I'm soldering my wires together. I first tinned the wires and then just brought them together and reheated the tinned ends until they fused together. Works really nice. You also see I put a piece of heat shrink tube on before I connected the wires permanently. Alright, I got the heat shrink on, and then I'm going to do a over wrap over the whole thing, which is another piece of heat shrink. And I measured it out so that it'll end up inside my roll bar before it ends. So you won't see any of it. The wire I happen to use is actually a 3 wire. I just used the 2 outside and I'm not using the center one. It'll kind of help things, make them stronger and not as flimsy. I could have pulled the wire off and used it, but it is what it is. Here we are. This is the back seat of the Turbo R. I have it mounted. I used the self-drilling screws that it came with a kit. I ended up pre-drilling the holes first because it's really hard to start something on the bottom of a round tube drilling up. So I used a small little 1/8 inch they call them a double-ended spot weld drill. They're really inexpensive and they drill like crazy. The other thing I did was I drilled a hole in the back of the roll cage here too, a little 1/2 inch, so I have something to run the wire through up to the front. I just got to stick a pull wire out, and I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to pull my excess wire up to the front. Alright, just so you could see it before I hit it, I have joined the 2 lights together and my power feed wire, and then I've got a slip over piece right here, and I got another one right here. Biggest thing is to remember to put all your heat shrink on your wires before you solder them together. So just like before, I got a pull wire. I've got my lights for the middle of the car, and then this is the one coming from the back seat. And I'm going to pull everything on down the front pillar. Just like before. just like that. Now I got both wires down here, and I'll join them together at the dash, and I will work on getting my switch set up. All right, I'm working on the switches, and you're probably wondering why I have two switches. Well, they're both not for my interior lights. I'm using the Spy one for the interior lights, and Mr. Squatch here is for my whips and rock lights, which I'm actually going to do on another day. But because of the way the rock light harness works, it gets its power actually straight from the battery and misses the key. I want my switches to light up with the key switch like the rest of my switches. So to have that backlight work, I had to come up with a secondary harness which will plug into the ignition key power, and then I still got another power source for my interior lights, which is not going to be on the key either, which you know, hopefully I don't leave anything on and have dead battery syndrome. But I want them to operate without the key switch. So I had to do a secondary harness to achieve that. All right, quick look at my spaghetti. Red wire is battery hot. I put a 5 amp fuse in it. Them lights should not pull more than that. The orange wire actually does the switch lights. That's on the ignition. And then I tied coming back from my switch going to my two lights, and then my ground going to the two lights. And I'll show you what it looks like in the dark. All right, so key on, they're lit up. Key off, they're out. Turn that on, and this is what I got for light. Should be able to see about anything you want to see on the interior at night. So I like it. I would call that a success. And you can see all three up in there. Here's another little thing I didn't know. You turn it on, you might not be able to see, but that switch lights up even with the key off. So that explains why there's a second ground wire. I never understood why there was two grounds going to the switch, but they must have two LEDs. One that lights it when it's on, and one you can light it when you put power to it from like an ignition switch or something. So they are dual. So I think that's pretty cool. We can show you while it's off. And I should have my other light, because you probably can't see in the dark. I got them each mounted.